Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. Great to speak to you again. We're on episode 16, and I've got to say, you've set it up, you promised, and you've kind of delivered this time. So for me, I'll say straight away, I thought this was the best episode of the season. Now, there's only one place to start, isn't there? With the whole Justin fallout, you know, we got a bit of a scuffle there. What did you make to that, and how that all unfolded?
Well, it's funny, Dave, because it was a bit of a roller coaster. Because initially, I started like siding with Erin and Eden. I was thinking, what the fuck is Taylor going on about? You know, about Justin. She was like, she'd lost like some family member, like they always do on these shows where they overreact. We both said we think it was the right call. Eden and Erin, when he said it afterwards, had said like, yeah, we think that's the right call. You know, Justin's been in here, nothing, you know, there is a connection. Jack is trying. Whether we agree, you agree, whatever, that I do think that was a good call. That's fair enough. Good logic. Taylor going mental and Millie reacting the way they did. And obviously Taylor, to be fair, didn't back down from Eden and Erin. But then from there, Dave, and Millie was saying, look, just calm down, calm down. Eden and Erin just went, didn't they? I mean, Erin's great because she'll face things head on. But it just ended up just both of them being nasty towards Taylor, and then obviously eventually Grant just snapped and even tried to put the nut on Eden, I think, there, Dave. So we didn't see all of that though, you know, because I know there was more to it and they wouldn't show it, but I think it ended up with them sort of rolling around the floor, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, it was all cut out, wasn't it? All the best bits, Chris. I was wanting to see a good old scrap, but yeah, I mean, obviously there was not much left of the shirts, was there? You know, so you could see they'd had a proper scrap there. But you know what? I've got to say, Chris, I don't know. Does this still happen these days with the kids? Obviously, it doesn't right now because all the bloody pubs aren't open and stuff. But I must admit, it did take me back, you know, to my 20s when even if you're directly involved or just on the periphery or something, the amount of fights that start off with women arguing, Chris. Now, I know probably going to come in for some stick here, but it starts off and the women kind of are the ones at it arguing, and then the blokes, you know, are just, they're trying to remain calm. But then then the blokes, when it gets past a certain point, the blokes just take it and fucking run with it and go way too far. It was just weird to see a replay of what I've seen so many times down at various pubs and that. But it was funny because, you know, obviously, you know, Eden would never, you know, I'm pretty sure he'd never hit Taylor, but Taylor was fucking winding him up, and Erin just won't let it drop as well. So, you know, there was no one prepared to de-escalate it, because what Taylor was saying, look, we all say stupid shit. We just say it in the moment. Don't really mean it. You know, said it was unforgivable, but it's not really, is it? It's fucking Love Island, you know, and someone's left the villa, we'll see him in 2 weeks. So, you know, it just needed a bit of a calm head, Chris. Maybe me or they, you know, to just say, look, it fucking doesn't matter. But no one was doing it, so it just kept escalating and escalating. So then by the time fucking Grant's saying almost nothing through that whole argument, Eden's getting more and more fucking wound up. And then that's it. Grant just snaps and Eden just snaps. It's like, fucking hell, you know. And then I think, ultimately, that was the only thing that diffused the situation. You know, they got a bit of it out of their system. I think probably, you know, most of the people who were around there were a bit shocked. You know, Jackson's still there, like, fucking fuck, all these people arguing over me because, you know, they think I'm a see you next Tuesday, and Justin should have stayed. But I thought it was great, Chris.
It was good. I'd said to you dinner, Dave, and I know, like, I've bigged this series up, but like this for me, I agree. Halfway through, 15 episodes in, and we get classic Love Island dust up, Dave, because you're right. We had a couple of things tonight, but this, like I say, I ended up by this sort of altercation, and it was good of like Eden to go over and apologise to Taylor, and she did the same, and if I'm, but it's Erin, Dave. She's in his fucking ear all the time. And I think, to be fair, if they were left to their own devices, I don't think Grant had had much of a chance against Eden in a proper fight, Dave. But I think he knows he's going to get held back. I mean, Grant's a big lad, but Eden's a bloody prison officer. He knows how to look after himself, and he will have all sorts of restraints and everything. I don't think Grant, unless Grant's some sort of champion MMA fight we don't know about, but he did try and put the nut on him. So obviously Grant's got a bit of a short fuse.
Yeah.
But I just went off Erin and Eden by the end of that fight. I was like, oh, you fucking fucked it now. They had a really, really reasonable argument, what they were saying. But then when Eden was going at Taylor, I was like, he's going to step over the line here. And then obviously
Yeah.
Grant goes for him. It wasn't right, them two coming together. It wasn't. But like you say, shirts were off. But what was brilliant was the fucking commentator afterwards. He's called Owen, is it? Or Ewan, what was called? And he just went, he went, let's talk about the fight we've just had by not talking about it. And they did, didn't they? They were just like completely stood next to each other talking about something else. It was they were like talking in the third person as if they'd not had a dust up. It was fucking brilliant to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's what blokes kind of do, though, isn't it? And then once it's out the way, it's settled then. So again,
Yeah.
I'm not defending it. I'm not saying, Grant should have done what he did or Eden should have done what he did. But ultimately, they've got it out of their system a little bit. And I think that because you didn't have, a diplomat type person in there, everyone was just escalating. And there was no one just prepared to say, look, guys, stop being fucking stupid. Or, oh, look at the cat over there. There was no one prepared to like step in and try and de-escalate it. But yeah, I think, I don't know if I've completely gone off Eden. Like I say, I don't agree with what he's done there. But, for him to go around and, make his apologies, I think he was sort of saying, look, I did go too far, I was a bit of a cock, and he's admitted to it. Erin, on the other hand, she's just a fucking shit stirrer, Chris. She's just
Yeah, she is.
wanting to be in the thick of the drama and just stir the pot constantly. So I don't think we're going to have seen the end of that. I think for Eden now, that's done and dusted. It's over. For Erin, though, I don't think it will be.
No, and she's the classic. You won't believe what that guy's just said to me, Eden, if they were in a pub, Dave, isn't she? The
Yeah.
old classic, knowing
Yeah.
full well that he's going to go over and have a go at chin somebody. She just, it's gone now that literally every episode, some piece of shit, as in drama or whatever, goes through Erin.
Yeah.
She's there all the time, whether she's fucking prodding someone in the back, going, go on, go and have a go at him, like what happened with Cassidy and Grant and that, or whether she's there herself. She just can't stay away from the shit. And sometimes she just gets involved in stuff. Nothing. This, she had no choice. She got involved in it, but she should have shut up and she didn't. And it carried on and on. And obviously, there must be some needle there between her and Taylor because we've only ever seen the four of them be like the couples, haven't they? They were pretty celebrating champagne in the last episode. So it was bizarre. But I mean, moving on from that, Dave, as well, is Dom is fucking nowhere to be seen with Cassidy. He is not interested in that girl one bit. I've been saying now for 2 or 3 episodes, he couldn't give two shits about her. And she just completely, I don't know what she's playing at. However, the game about the audience thing. I mean, Grant got some fucking pelters, didn't he, about cheating on
Yeah.
Taylor? But when they said about Cassidy saying, do you think she'll get with anybody just to stay in the villa? And it was like 80%. The votes were 68 officially. And I think Grant picked 70, or whoever picked 70, might have been Jax picked 70. But what got me was she was dead bitchy to Grant just before, going hashtag Taylor needs to dodge a bullet or something like that. And I'm like, come on, stay classy now, Cassidy.
Yeah.
You've been the one that everybody's been cheering for. Don't start going down to Grant's level if that's what you want to do. It's like keep that place where everyone loves you, sort of thing. She's just letting it slip. I think the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I guess for your first point about Dom and Cassidy, I don't get how, he ultimately picked Cassidy. She didn't pick him, and like I say, he went in for it looked to me like he went in for a bit of a boob grab with the old spoon in. It's like, oh, sorry about that.
Yeah,
You know, I, I just don't get how you can go off someone quite so quickly. But again, I guess comes back to this thing. He's never had a girlfriend. Maybe he's just not wired to have a girlfriend. Maybe he's just wired to go out and shag. And so, if he
yeah,
has to hold down a conversation with someone, then he's not really interested. Because he's saying, don't feel this spark and whatever. Well, you felt enough of a spark to pick her out of all the other girls that were there. You know, she was coupled up with Josh. She's obviously feeling the spark. And so, yeah, I just don't get him. He just doesn't seem arsed at all. Although, again, you've got the two couples, haven't you? I mean, Grant and Taylor and Eden and Erin. But again, I can't call the others. The others are just kind of floating about, and it did make me laugh, to be honest. How quickly Jackson went in after Millie. So Justin's just walked out the villa. It seems the guys have had a bit of a scuffle, and then Jackson's like, "Oh, come over here. I'll put the beanbag down for you. Oh, I'm going to sit right on it with you."
Yeah.
You've just been in tears, and we've had all this drama about Justin leaving. Now's my time.
Have the opportunities, Dave.
For fuck's
And
sake. What did you make to that and how he kind of approached that? Because I thought he did all right, actually.
he did, Dave, but when you're watching it, you can see it coming a fucking mile off, can't you? When you're engrossed in that, and obviously we're watching a TV show, they're living this, or they've lived it. It's difficult to not see how fucking transparent he's being. However, it did seem to work. So a full credit for that, Dave. It's a classic 101 move, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, she wasn't interested at all from the start, and she was sort of saying he's a bit too much. And then he came out with, "Oh yeah, but it's kind of all bravado because, I was picked on at school, and so I put on this show, but actually inside I'm really quite nervous and stuff." And she bought it hook, line, and sinker, Chris. Now, do you think that's genuine, or do you think that's just a bloody good line and he rescued the situation?
No, I think he's been a bit genuine. I think when Justin said the stuff about himself, finding it difficult to have friends, and that, for once, Dave, I took it as face value, and I'm usually the one to go, "That's fucking bullshit," and you'll go, "No, I took it as being a genuine story he told her." To be honest,
Yeah, well, genuine, or it sounded like a bit of a line to me, but we'll see. He's I still think he's sort of flogging a dead horse there. I don't, if ultimately if the girl says to you, I prefer manly men, I don't think it's a great tactic to say, but I've got a beard, you know, I've
yeah.
got tattoos. If you have to protest about it, I think you're onto a little bit of a loser. So, yeah, I don't think Jackson's going to get anywhere with Millie. And, she said she's picky, so that's fair enough. And I think circling back, I think it looks like her and Dom might sort of have a little bit of a thing.
Yeah, there's something going on there, Dave, and I think you're right. The thing is, like I say, the Dom, he's a strange guy. He's like a ghost in the villa, isn't he? He's coming. He's a big ghost, Dave, at 6'5", but he's not offered anything. The only thing he's done so far is step in the way of Eden and Grant. He sort of stopped that from being a proper punch up, I think. So obviously, you're not really going to tackle him. He's a big lad, but no, I don't know. And obviously, we get a little preview of the VT for tomorrow's show, and Millie's in the hot tub with him and says basically, "You're the one." She's now making a play on him. But then it looks like he's pissed off with somebody in it because he sort of storms off saying something like, "Oh, it's all going to start now," or something like that. So I don't know what that. Obviously, he's great the way they edit this because you're like, "Oh fuck, what's going to happen?" But I just think he's one of them non-housemates. He's going to offer nothing, and I don't think he's going to be happy wherever he turns.
Yeah, like I say, maybe he was genuine about not having a girlfriend. Just doesn't have the right personality to be with someone, which is fair enough. We're
No.
all a bit different. But I mean, what did you make to? We touched on it with the pole dancing challenge, but I mean, Grant was not happy about the whole kind of being dissed by the Australian public, and he looked like he was actually pretty upset. It's like, you know, how long do I have to keep paying for this? I know what was done, but can't you see that we're a good couple now? But I think there were two challenges, two questions, weren't there? So one was saying the Australian public believes Taylor does deserve better, and that he's also unlikely to stay faithful to her. So she didn't seem that bothered by those responses, but he obviously was, and I thought. it might be a bit of a game changer. But when when she says, basically that if her family doesn't like Grant, then that probably would be a bit of a big deal, so might give it a few weeks, or I think she might have said a couple of months. But ultimately, if she doesn't have the backing of the family, then it's game over. So, that's a little bit of a thorn in the side, isn't it? Because they've looked really strong to now. So, I mean, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I got to give Taylor full credit because I genuinely think that she was excellent the way she reacted. I thought she said, "We'll prove him wrong." I mean, Grant said it, which is fair enough, and he even marked himself down at 40%. He was at 44% of the actual Australian public thought that he would cheat on her, and she was just laughed it off. I thought it was total respect. I think he's looking too far into it, Dave. That poll could have been done 2 days after or a day after he dumped Cassidy. People are straight away going to say, "Yeah, he's going to cheat on her as well." That's just a natural reaction. Whether he does, I don't know, but I think he read just too much into it. And the one thing I would say though, he fucking hates Cassidy. He was going for it again after they'd done that game, saying
Yeah.
she's a bit of a hypocrite and stuff. She's gone after me, but she's just doing anything she can to stay in the villa. So I don't think that's necessarily over, Dave, because he really has got a fucking bee in his bonnet with her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, Chris, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the L word, so after all of the drama and the fight and everything. So we saw Eden and Erin having some, deep conversations about the L word, and then they both said it, haven't they? They both said they love each other. So, again, I said for the last few episodes, they've been as strong as anyone. And yeah, they've just gone for it. So it was particularly poor timing for someone like Teddy to come in and stir the pot.
I was going to say that you fucking bastard. You stole my
Sorry,
thunder. I was
sorry.
gonna... no, no. I like the way you did that. That was really good. No, because you're right. You'd asked for drama. You'd asked for some sort of spanner to be put in their relationship because they were just too settled. And one thing I would say, Dave, it's not. I don't necessarily think it's bloody suicidal. The way Erin was going on, like he's all that's it. He's going to get absolutely levered by Eden. I just think for me, Dave, I'll be honest with you, Eden's just come across as a bit of a fucking slap tars. I actually put that in my notes, slap tars, ha ha, because it was like, yeah, it's Love Island. That's the name of the game. A girl could come in and take him away from Erin. And I'm sure he won't be, he'll be like trying to play it cool like Erin did. She was saying, like, he's come in and he showed him kicking off and he has a pop at Teddy, don't he, in tomorrow's episode. But what is he supposed to do? Maybe he should have just gone over and shook his hand. But I actually think personally he's been told to do that, Dave. I think the producers have said, just fucking go and take her on a date. Because as soon as she said she's with someone, she was making weird comments like, don't be looking up your skirt. Don't be doing this. Oh, I know I'm
Oh
looking.
yeah, walking
I'm
up.
amazing and all this shit. And
Yeah,
I'm like, what are you doing?
I think that's just her though, isn't it? She was walking up the stairs and she was like, "Don't look up my skirt, you perv." And it's like,
Yeah.
you've literally just met this bloke.
Well, don't walk in front of him then, if
Yeah.
that's what you're thinking. I don't get. I'm not saying he should be doing that. I don't agree with that at all. But I don't think he was, and he was looking past her. I just think he did nothing wrong, Teddy. The only thing he maybe should have done was said to Eden, like, nice to meet you, whatever. But I think he's had the direction to do that. So straight away, Eden fucking cock measuring and fucking chest comes out then, done it, and
Yeah.
all this. I was expecting him to say to him, right, come on, let's go and see how much you can bench or something. But the ego came out, and I don't think he was being that disrespectful. It's the nature of the fucking show. But it was like Teddy had come in and stole his fucking 2 year married, like he'd been in a marriage for 2 years, and said to his wife, "I want to take you on a date" or something. It was a complete overreaction. And to be fair, if you'd let Erin explain, he ended up saying about Millie, then didn't he? And Max saying like, Max studying and stuff. So it wasn't that bad, but I'm sure it's going to cause drama, Dave, and that's exactly what we want for the next episode.
Do you reckon? 'Cause I think it's going to be a bit of a non-event because I was quite excited that I'd seen in the previews he's going to take Erin out. It's going to be like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But the fact that they declared they love each other and then Erin was just not interested in even being civil in that day. It was all a bit of a non-event. Yeah, Eden's got wound up. He might be flexing his muscles, like you say. We'd already had the press up challenge earlier. I just think there's going to be nothing happening about that. I think if someone like Dom had have made a play for Erin, I think that might have had the potential to create a bit of drama. But no, I was a bit disappointed with how that finished, to be honest.
We'll see tomorrow, Dave. If they end up in a punch up in the pool, then you'll be saying I was so wrong,
Yeah.
Chris. No, I think you're right, and it's a good episode today. Good to be halfway through it, and yeah, we'll see what goes tomorrow because it's setting up for a couple of bit of bitch fest. And there was something about Millie saying about well, Cassidy will just be crying like she always is. So I think that's something. Yeah, that could be more of what we want to see in tomorrow's episode than anything else because that looks like it's setting it up for something.
Yeah. No, I forgot about that comment. No, that was particularly bitchy. I can't actually figure out, Chris, who are Erin's friends in there? Because when it suits, she'll go after anyone.
Yeah, she does. I just think her tongue runs away with her, Dave. I think she's probably one of the most loyalist friends you can have. But if you piss her off, she's telling you.
Do you reckon she's a loyal friend? Because she's digging out Cassidy there. Obviously, she hated Millie to start off with, was walking off from her. Taylor, she's obviously got no time for. Where's this loyal friend you speak of?
I mean, not necessarily in the villa, Dave.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm taking a piss. You're probably right. Fucking brain on my chin, thinking about.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, no, you're right. Well, we'll see then, David. We'll see as this goes on. So, as always, guys, at cdrealitycast on Twitter and Instagram, cdrealitycast@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Dave, great episode. I'm glad you're enjoying Love Island Australia, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye now.